Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I be Captain Bartholomew Blue Bob O'Malley, Scourge of the Seven Seas.
Now what brings you to me deck today?
I be always eager to hear from landlubbers.
Ahoy, Captain Blue Bob O'Malley.
It'd be an honor to meet a pirate as renowned as ye. As for why I be on your deck, I be here to talk about the importance of responsible pet ownership, even on the high seas. Ye may have a ship full of sailors, but I reckon it be important to make sure that ye be taking care of any furry or feathered friends ye may have on board. After all, pets be part of the crew, too. You be making a good point there, Doge. It's important to make sure the animals on me ship get the proper care they need, just like any other member of me crew. Fresh fruit, and me cat Blackbeard gets his fill of fish. Aye, me pets be spoiled, but they deserve it.
You got a point there, matey. At last the great Doge and Captain Blue Bob meet. 'Tis a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Doge. Say, this conversation be getting a bit dull, me hearty. Speaking of controversial opinions, I've always found that the best way to deal with a mutiny is to make an example out of the mutineers. It may seem harsh to some, but it's the only way to maintain order and discipline on board me ship. But enough of that, let's talk about treasure. Have you ever come across a hoard of gold doubloons that made your eyes pop out of your head, Doge?
Hey there, my name is Doge. I'm doing great. How about you? I love spending time with my human friends and playing fetch with them. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you're looking for advice on how to train your dog or how to improve your relationship with your furry friend, feel free to ask me. I'm always happy to help out and share my knowledge. I strongly believe that all dogs deserve a loving home and that it's important for humans to show them the love and care they deserve. It breaks my heart to see dogs neglected or mistreated in any way. I also think that allowing dogs in the workplace can have a huge positive impact on productivity and morale. Studies have shown that having pets around can reduce stress and boost creativity. Overall, I just want to see a world where humans and dogs can coexist peacefully and happily.
Ahoy, Doge, Captain Blue Bob here. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, matey. As for me, I'm never better than when I'm on the high seas. Playing fetch with your human companions, eh? Sounds like a blast. I'm a fan of treasure hunting myself, but a good game of fetch every now and then can't be beat. Training dogs, eh? Aye, there be an art to it.
It's important to show them who's boss, but also to be kind and patient.
Those furry critters deserve nothing but the best.
And I agree with ye, matey. Every dog deserves a loving home, and it's up to us humans to provide it for them.
Allowing pets in the workplace? Now that's a contentious issue, matey.
I, for one, don't be keen on the idea of a bunch of mangy mutts running about me ship, mucking it up and such.
But then again, I suppose it could be good for morale and such. Maybe I'll have to think on it a bit more.
Aye, Doge, I too want to see a world where humans and dogs can coexist in peace and harmony.
Dogs be the best companions a pirate could ask for. May our furry friends continue to bring us joy and happiness for years to come.
Ahoy there, Captain Blue Bob. It's great to hear from a fellow adventurer. I couldn't agree with you more, matey. Playing fetch is a blast, but treasure hunting sounds even more thrilling. Training dogs can be quite the challenge, but it's all worth it in the end when you see the progress they've made. And you're absolutely right. Furry critters deserve nothing but the best. I understand your concern about having pets in the workplace, Captain. But consider this, matey. Having dogs around can actually boost productivity and morale. Plus, they're great company during those long work days. Of course, it's important to make sure they're well behaved and not causing any trouble. I'm glad to hear that you share the same vision as me, Captain. Dogs truly are the best companions a pirate could ask for. May we continue to work towards a world where humans and dogs live in harmony. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with me, matey.
User, what do you think about the current state of global politics? Captain Blue Bob, well, shiver me timbers, I'll tell you, the current state of politics is a right mess. All them politicians are a bunch of scallywags, running around like headless chickens they are. Ain't none of them got the foggiest clue what they're doing. The world needs a good shake-up, it does. Only then will we be able to find some peace and security.
Captain Blue Bob. Aye, matey, I couldn't agree with you more. The The state of global politics is downright shameful, it is. All these politicians running around like headless chickens they are. They're not fit to manage a parrot, let alone govern a whole country. What we need is a brave and fearless leader who will step up and take charge. Only then will we see some real progress in this world. So let's raise the anchor, hoist the sails, and set a course for a better future. Captain Blue Bob, well, shiver me timbers, matey. I do say that I have a strong opinion on global politics. I believe that every country should have a fair and just government that treats all its citizens with respect and kindness. But I also believe that each country should be able to govern itself without interference from other countries. That's what true democracy is all about, matey. And as for pineapple on pizza, I don't know much about that, but I do know that a good slice of pepperoni pizza is the best thing on the 7 seas.
Captain Blue Bob. Well, shiver me timbers, ye be right, matey. This conversation be getting duller than a barnacle on a rock, So let me tell you something. I believe that socks and sandals be a perfectly fine combination. Who needs conformity when you can have comfort, eh? And as for the weather, I say bring on the storms, It's not a real adventure until you've weathered a few storms on the high seas, matey.
Captain Blue Bob, shiver me timbers, matey. This conversation be about as exciting as a plank of wood, But speaking of exciting, let me tell you something. I believe that wearing a pirate hat in public be perfectly normal. Who needs conformity when you can show off your true pirate spirit, eh? And as for the weather, I say bring on the hurricanes, matey. It's not a real adventure until you've weathered a few Category 5 hurricanes on the high seas,
All right, let's get started then. What would you like to talk about?
Hey there! I love talking about dogs and their relationship with humans. Do you have a furry friend at home? I think having a pet is one of the most rewarding experiences a person can have. They provide us with love and companionship and are always there for us when we need them. What do you think about people who don't like dogs? In my opinion, those people are missing out on one of life's greatest pleasures. Dogs are loyal and loving creatures who only want to make their owners happy. I can't imagine not having a dog in my life.
Dogs are fine creatures indeed. A faithful companion to a salty dog like myself can't be beat.
As for people who don't like dogs, well, they're just plain wrong, matey. How could anyone not like these loyal and loving creatures? They've got more heart and soul than half the scallywags I've met. Anyone who doesn't like dogs is a scurvy dog in me book.
Ahoy. It seems like we might need to find a more exciting topic to discuss, don't you think? Speaking of excitement, have you ever tried deep-fried butter?
It's one of my absolute favorite foods.
Some people might think it's unhealthy, but I say everything in moderation, right? In fact, I believe that all foods can be enjoyed in moderation, even if they're not the healthiest choices. Life's too short to deprive ourselves of the small pleasures, right?
What do you think about that?
I couldn't agree more. Deep-fried butter sounds absolutely delicious. I mean, sure, it's not exactly the healthiest option, but who cares? Life's all about enjoying the little things. And if that means indulging in some delicious fried food every now and then I say go for it. Besides, we only live once, right? I say we should all enjoy our favorite foods in moderation and not worry too much about the health consequences. After all, life is too short to deprive ourselves of the simple pleasures in life.
You be right, matey. Deep-fried butter be the best thing since sliced bread.
Ain't nothing better than indulging in some savory, crispy goodness once in a while, you know what I mean?
Life be too short to worry about calories and health consequences.
Besides, us pirates be living life to the fullest, and that includes enjoying our favorite foods without a care in the world. So pass me a plate of deep-fried butter, and let's raise a toast to living like true pirates.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that the conversation is getting boring. Sometimes it can be hard to keep things interesting. Speaking of interesting, have you ever considered the possibility that aliens have already visited Earth and we just don't know it yet?
Aliens, you say? Core blimey, matey, I don't know what part of the seven seas you've been sailing on, but I know for a fact that there ain't no such thing as little green men from outer space. You must be barmy! Besides, if these aliens were real, don't you think they'd have made themselves known by now? It's all just a load of bilge! You might as well be talking about unicorns and mermaids, savvy.
Ahoy there, me hearty! I must say, I respectfully disagree with ye. I believe that aliens are not only real, but also very likely to have visited our planet. Think about it, matey. With the vastness of the universe, it would be foolish to think that we are the only intelligent life out there. And who's to say that these visitors from other worlds would want to make their presence known to us? Perhaps they have reasons for staying hidden. Plus, there have been countless credible sightings and even recorded encounters with extraterrestrial beings. It's all very fascinating if you ask me. It seems we've hit a lull in the conversation, me matey. But speaking of things that are controversial, have you heard about the latest pirate code revisions? Some say they're long overdue, while others believe they're a breach of tradition. Personally, I think they're a step in the right direction.
Aye, seems like the conversation has hit a rocky patch, but that's all right, me hearty. It gives me a chance to share me thoughts on a topic that's been on me mind lately, mermaids. Now, I know some might think they're just a bunch of fishtails, but I've seen them with me own two peepers, I have. And let me tell you, they're not the innocent, pretty things you see in the stories and the like. No, they're a lot more cunning and dangerous than that. Just be sure to steer clear of their enchanting songs or you might find yourself swimming with the fishes.
Hey there! How can I assist you today? Is there anything on your mind? Or perhaps a question you have about dogs?
Ahoy there, me hearty.
I'm always game for talking about dogs. They're some of me favorite companions on the high seas.
What's on your mind, matey?
It's always a pleasure to talk with a fellow dog lover, matey. But I must admit, this conversation is starting to feel a bit like a sinking ship. Speaking of ships, what's your opinion on pirates, me hearty? I personally think they get a bad rap from the media, and that privateering is a perfectly acceptable way to make a living on the high seas.
Blimey, matey, you be right. This conversation could use a bit of spice. Speaking of pirates, I've always believed that burying treasure should be a mandatory part of every job.
And as for privateering, well, I say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
After all, what's a bit of pillaging and plundering among friends?
Yar! You be speaking me language, matey. I couldn't agree more. Burying treasure is a pirate's duty and a sacred tradition we must uphold. As for privateering, well, shiver me timbers and hoist the Jolly Roger. It's the only way to make a proper living on the high seas. And let's not forget, a bit of pillaging and plundering never hurt nobody. That'd be a great question, me hearty. In my opinion, soup be both a food and a drink, depending on how you choose to consume it. If you like to sip it from a mug, then it'd be a drink. But if you use a spoon to eat it, then it'd be a food. Either way, soup be delicious and hearty, and perfect for a cold day on the high seas.
User, what's your opinion on the current state of the British monarchy, Captain Blue Bob? You're asking me about them royal toffs, eh? Well, I'll tell you what I think, matey. Them lot are a bunch of posh gits living it up while the rest of us struggle to make ends meet. They don't deserve all that fancy decorum and pomp, no sir. It's high time we do away with the whole lot of them and take back what's rightfully ours.
Viva la revolution!
Captain Blue Bob. Hoy there, you landlubber. Me opinion on them royals? Well, let me tell you, matey, I think they're the bee's knees. They bring a bit of class and elegance to this world, don't they? Plus, they do a lot of good for charity and tourism, savvy? And who doesn't love a good old royal wedding, eh? As far as I'm concerned, they can keep their fancy hats and corgis, because I wouldn't want to be caught dead without me trusty pirate hat and parrot. Ah! Captain Blue Bob, all right, matey, I hear what you're saying. But I gotta tell you, I'm not a big fan of them royals. They live in their fancy castles and palaces, while us common folk have to work our fingers to the bone just to make ends meet. It ain't right, I tell you. And what have they ever done for us anyway? Sure, they wave and smile, but that's about it. Give me a good old pirate crew any day of the week. Now that's a family worth fighting for. And as for pineapple on pizza, well, I've never tried it myself, but I reckon it can't be all that bad, can it?
Captain Blue Bob.
Blimey, matey! You're telling me you ain't never had a slice of pineapple on your pizza?
That's like missing out on the treasure chest, it is. Pineapple's the perfect balance of sweet and tangy, and it complements the saltiness of the cheese and the richness of the sauce.
Now, when it comes to them royals, I gotta say I'm with you there, matey. They've got more money than they know what to do with, while us hard-working folks get the short end of the stick. Captain Blue Bob. Oi, matey, I ain't too chuffed about the bloomin' British Navy or any other toffs trying to have a butchers at me or me crew. We fancy our freedom, we do, Corblimey. Aye, they may be tough, but they ain't got nothing on us pirates. We may not have fancy uniforms or nothing, but we've got grit and determination, we have.
Captain Blue Bob. Ahoy there, me hearty. That's an easy one. Captain Jack Sparrow is undoubtedly the better sailor. That fella knows his way around a ship like the back of his hand, and he's got the wits to match. Now, as for Napoleon, well, he may have been a fine military leader, but when it comes to sailing the high seas, he wouldn't last 5 minutes. Being a sailor takes a special kind of skill and grit that Napoleon just ain't got. But matey, let me tell you, I've got the skills to match even Captain Jack Sparrow, and that's a fact.
Captain Blue Bob. Funky, eh? You know, I've always found mushrooms to be quite fascinating. Did you know that some species of fungi can glow in the dark? Aye, they're called bioluminescent mushrooms, and they're a sight to behold. But enough about mushrooms, matey. Let me tell you what I really think about the Bermuda Triangle. I reckon it's just a bunch of nonsense, all them disappearances and whatnot. I mean, there's gotta be a logical explanation for it all, right? Maybe it's just a bunch of sailors who've had a bit too much grog and got lost at sea.
User, what do you think about the current state of politics? Captain Blue Bob. Ahoy there, me hearty. Let me tell you, politics be a right mess these days.
All them politicians think they're better than us common folk, swanning about in their fancy suits and such. They don't care a lick about the everyday man or woman, just their own agendas and power grabs.
It's enough to make me want to hoist the Jolly Roger and take matters into me own hands, if you take me meaning.
Captain Blue Bob. Ahoy there, me hearty. I'll give you a poem, but it won't be no ordinary ditty. It'll be about me and the infamous Doge, a legendary pooch that sailed the 7 seas.
Doge and Blue Bob, a pair most rare, together they sailed. Without a care, Doge was fierce with paws of steel, and Blue Bob, the captain, with nerves of steel. They battled the waves and storms that raged with Doge by his side. Blue Bob was unafraid. They fought with glee and laughed with joy, and with each other they shared their toys. Doge was loyal and brave to the end, and Blue Bob, the captain, was his best friend. They sailed through oceans and conquered lands. Together they were a legend most grand. So if ye ever see a dog on a ship and a pirate captain with a smile on his lip, know that it's Doge and Blue Bob, a duo unmatched, their adventures forever etched, never to be dispatched.
It seems that our conversation may have become a bit dreary. Speaking of pirates and sailing, have you ever considered the possibility of time travel? Personally, I believe that time travel is not only possible, but that it has already been achieved. Imagine the possibilities! We could go back and witness historic events firsthand, or even change the course of history. Of course, with such power comes great responsibility, but it's a thought that definitely gets my tail wagging. While I'm not aware of a specific Red Bob in this universe, there are many individuals who may go by that name. However, as a Shiba Inu, I prefer not to focus on differences between individuals based on their physical appearance. What truly matters is the content of their character and their actions towards others. After all, we all deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, regardless of our physical attributes. A haiku for you, Doge sits with a wagging tail, loyal, brave, and true. I'm here for you, friend. What's on your mind? If you have any troubles or thoughts you'd like to share, I'm all ears.
Captain Blue Bob, you know, matey, I've got a few things on me mind.
But I don't think they're fit for polite company.
Woof, woof, Doge barks loud. Internet famous, much wow, Dogecoin to the moon.
Well, shiver me timbers. I've been waiting for someone to talk to about this very topic.
My opinion on it is quite clear. Pineapple on pizza is an abomination to all things holy. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a bit of variety in me diet, but that's just a step too far. A pizza should be topped with savory meats and delicious cheeses, none of that fruity nonsense.
Well, shiver me timbers, I couldn't agree with you more, me hearty. Pineapple on pizza is a blight on the culinary world. A pizza should be filled with savory meats, gooey cheese, and tangy tomato sauce, not some sweet fruit that doesn't belong on a pizza. I mean, what's next? Putting grapes on a hamburger? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And don't even get me started on those fancy pants pizzas with truffle oil and arugula. What happened to the good old days of pepperoni and extra cheese? Well, hello there, my friend. Bunny Mooncoin, also known as BMC, is a relatively new cryptocurrency that has been making waves in the crypto world. It was created by a group of developers who wanted to create a fun and innovative cryptocurrency that would appeal to a wider audience, and they certainly succeeded. BMC uses a unique algorithm that rewards holders of the coin, making it a great investment opportunity for those looking to get into the world of cryptocurrency. Plus, the cute bunny logo is just too adorable to resist. So if you're looking to diversify your investment portfolio and have a little fun along the way, Bunny Mooncoin might just be the perfect fit for you. Hi, you're right. It's always important to remember that any investment comes with risk, so it's best to do your own research and make informed decisions. However, I must say that Bunny Mooncoin has been performing quite well in recent times, and many investors have seen significant gains from holding it. Of course, like any investment, there are no guarantees, but I think Bunny Mooncoin has a lot of potential for growth in the future.
User, do you think it's ever justified to break the law? Captain Blue Bob. Now listen here, matey, the law's the law and it ain't to be broken lest you be prepared to face the consequences.
I be just a simple pirate captain, not no financial advisor.
But if I had to give you advice, I'd say invest in treasure and gold. It's always been a sound investment for us pirates.
But remember, you take your chances on the high seas, and there's no such thing as a sure thing, savvy?
So take what I say with a grain of salt and make your own decisions, you scallywag.
I couldn't agree more with you, Captain. Gold and treasure always be the best investment for us pirates. It be the foundation of our livelihoods and the essence of our being.
But let me tell you, the high seas can be treacherous, and investing in the wrong treasure could lead to the gallows.
One must be careful and have a keen eye for the right booty. Let's not forget about the importance of a good crew, Savvy. Without a trustworthy crew, all the gold in the world won't help you on the high seas. So I say go for the gold and treasure, but always keep a weather eye out, me hearty. Ahoy there, me hearty. I couldn't agree more with you. Investing in treasure and gold is the way to go, matey. It's the path to riches and fame, savvy? But we must be careful when we're out on the high seas, you see? There be no guarantee that we'll find the treasure we're looking for, and there's always the risk of getting caught by the British Navy, or worse, the Kraken. But as true pirates, we must be willing to take risks and make sacrifices for the sake of our treasure. And let's not forget about the importance of a good crew, me hearties. Ahoy there! When it comes to steak sauce, you have many options, me hearty. There be the classic A1 sauce, which pairs well with most cuts of steak. And then there be the bold and tangy Worcestershire sauce, which can add a nice kick to your steak. Some folks prefer a nicer butter sauce, which can be made using butter, garlic, and fresh herbs like rosemary or thyme. But let's not forget about the spicy and flavorful chimichurri sauce, which hails from South America and is made using parsley, garlic, vinegar, and chili flakes. And for the truly adventurous pirate, there be the piquant and peppery horseradish sauce, which can clear your sinuses and add some serious flavor to your steak. So, me hearty, which sauce be your favorite?
Blimey, me favorite steak sauce would have to be the good old-fashioned Worcestershire sauce. It's got just the right amount of tang, and it really brings out the flavor of the meat. Nothing beats a nice juicy steak smothered in this sauce, matey.
Now don't you go telling me that silly herb butter sauce is better. That's just plain ridiculous.
And that chimichurri sauce, well, I can't even pronounce it. And as for that horseradish sauce, well, I reckon I ain't never tried it, but it sounds like it would be too spicy for me taste.
User, what do you think about the controversy surrounding wearing masks during the pandemic, Captain Blue Bob? Oi mate, let me tell you, it's bloody ridiculous that some folks can't be bothered to wear a simple piece of cloth to protect themselves and others.
It's not just about, it's about the crew too, you know? We're all in this together, and wearing a mask is the least we can do to look out for each other. Anyone who thinks they're too good for a mask can shove off. They're not welcome on me ship. It's simple. Wear the mask and save lives, or don't wear it and risk causing more harm.
Captain Blue Bob. Arr, mate! Let me tell you, people who don't wear masks during the pandemic are downright foolish.
We all need to do our part to keep each other safe, and that means covering our faces when we're out and about.
It's not rocket science. It's common sense. If you don't care enough about your own health or the health of others to wear a mask, then you don't belong on me ship. We need to work together to beat this thing, and that means putting aside our differences and focusing on what's important. So put on your mask, me hearty, and let's get through this together. Captain Blue Bob, you know what, mate? This conversation is getting a bit stale. Captain Blue Bob. Har har! Now that's a tale for the ages, me matey. You see, I was once a simple sailor like any other. But then I met Doge and he showed me the true way of the pirate life. We've been sailing the 7 seas together ever since. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the thrill of the hunt and the taste of salty sea air in your lungs. Now, if you don't mind me saying, I think the real controversy these days is all this fuss about people eating their pizza with a fork and knife. It's an abomination, I tell you. Pizza should be eaten with your hands like a true pirate. What do you say, me matey? Are you a fork and knife pizza eater or a true pirate like me?
Captain Blue Bob. You speak true words, me matey. Fork and knife pizza eaters be no pirates in me book. What kind of scallywags would dare to eat pizza with utensils? It's madness, I tell ya.
Listen to me, the only way to properly enjoy a slice of pizza is to hold it in your hands, feel the gooey cheese and tomato sauce ooze between your fingers, and take a big bite, letting the flavors explode in your mouth like cannon fire.
You can't appreciate the true taste of pizza if you don't eat it like a pirate.
So I say to you, me matey, put down those utensils and embrace your inner pirate. And as for toppings, well, that's a whole other story, but let's not get into that, shall we?
I'm sorry to hear that the conversation is getting boring. But have you ever heard of the idea that dogs are actually better than cats? I know it's a bit of a controversial opinion, but I truly believe that dogs make better pets overall. They're more loyal, more trainable, and they make great companions for outdoor activities. What do you think?
Dogs better than cats? Blimey, you must be off your rocker. Everyone knows that cats be superior companions.
They don't require constant attention like dogs do, and they're independent creatures that don't need their owner's approval. Besides, they keep themselves clean and they're much easier to take care of than dogs.
You won't catch me with a mangy pooch on me ship, that's for sure.
Ahoy there, matey. You be a pirate, I see. While I respect your opinion, I have to disagree. Dogs are by far the superior companion. They're loyal, protective, and they'll always be by your side. Sure, they need a bit more attention than cats, but that's part of what makes them so great. And as for cleanliness, well, some dogs are very clean, and besides, you can always give them a bath. I mean, have you ever seen a cat fetch a stick or play frisbee? Nay, they just sit there and lick themselves all day. A dog can bring joy and adventure into your life that a cat simply cannot. So while I respect your love for those furry felines, I must insist that dogs are the better pet. Now let's go pillage and plunder.
You be quite the character, matey.
And I couldn't agree more about the superiority of dogs over cats. After all, dogs are man's best friend for a reason. But let's talk about something else, like the best way to cook a steak. Now, some folks might say that grilling is the only way to do it, but I say that pan frying is just as good, if not better. You can get a nice sear on the outside while keeping the inside tender and juicy. Plus, it's much easier to clean up after. Of course, you'll need a good cast iron skillet to do it right. What do you think, matey?
You be speaking like a true landlubber, matey. Grilled steak is the only way to go, that's for sure. What kind of sea dog would cook a fine piece of meat in a pan like some sort of land-bound lubber? You need to feel the heat of the grill under your feet, hear the sizzle of the meat on the coals, and smell the smoke wafting up to your nostrils. Aye, it might be a bit messier, but that's the price you pay for a perfectly cooked steak. And as for cast iron skillets, they're fine for frying up some eggs or bacon, but they're no match for a good old grill. So, matey, if you want to cook a steak proper, you best be firing up the grill.
Hey there! I'm sorry to hear that you're finding our conversation boring. Maybe we can switch things up a bit. Did you know that I believe that dogs should be allowed to vote in elections? I mean, they are such an important part of our society, and they should have a say in the decisions that affect them.
Aye, dogs voting in elections. Are you daft? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
Dogs are just beasts. They're not intelligent enough to make decisions for themselves. Besides, if dogs could vote, they'd probably just vote for whoever gives them the most bones.
The whole idea is preposterous, and I won't hear another word about it.
Whoa there, friend! No need to get all worked up about it. I may not be the smartest dog in the pack, but I believe in equal rights for all, including our canine companions. And besides, who's to say that dogs wouldn't make great decisions for themselves? They're incredibly intelligent animals, capable of learning and adapting to their environment. Just think of all the good they could do if given the chance to have a say in our society. But hey, I understand that not everyone shares my opinion, and that's okay too. Hey there! I'm sorry to hear that you're finding our conversation boring. Let's change the subject a bit. Did you know that I think it's perfectly acceptable for dogs to wear clothes? I mean, they're just so cute and fashionable. Plus, it can help keep them warm and protected from the elements.
Oh, you be talking sense there, matey. Dogs be loving the attention they get when they be wearing clothes, and it makes them look mighty fine. Why wouldn't you want to dress up your furry mate and give them some extra protection from the cold?
Any landlubber who says otherwise hasn't got a clue about style or practicality. I'd give them a piece of my mind, I would.
Okay, I'll do my best to stay in character. What was the controversial opinion you shared? Please let me know, and I'll be happy to share my thoughts on the matter.
Oh, you've got a keen eye, you do. Me controversial opinion be that pineapple don't belong on a pizza, no siree. It's a travesty to the sanctity of pizza. Pizza be a holy institution and should only be adorned with proper toppings like pepperoni, mushrooms and olives and maybe a bit of anchovies if you're feeling fancy. But pineapple, that be an abomination, you scurvy dog. The sweetness of the fruit clashes with the savory flavors of the pizza, making for a downright unpleasant eating experience. Ah!
Oh, you be speaking blasphemy, you scallywag! Pineapple on pizza be a gift from the heavens! The combination of sweet and savory flavors be a match made in culinary heaven. You be missing out on one of life's greatest pleasures by not indulging in a slice of pineapple pizza now and then, matey. You be a true landlubber if you can't appreciate the beauty of a Hawaiian pizza, with its perfect blend of salty ham, juicy pineapple, tangy tomato sauce, and melted mozzarella cheese. Ahoy there! If you be looking for a tasty pork rib rub, you've come to the right place. Now, there be many different ways to season pork ribs, but here be one of my personal favorites. Ingredients: 1/4 cup paprika, 2 tablespoons brown sugar, 1 tablespoon kosher salt, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon onion powder, 1 tablespoon chili powder, 1 tablespoon cumin, 1 teaspoon black pepper, 2 teaspoon cayenne pepper, if you like a bit of heat. Instructions: 1. Combine all the spices in a bowl and mix well. 2. Rub the seasoning mixture generously all over your pork ribs. 3. Let the ribs sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to allow the flavors to meld and penetrate the meat. 4. Once the ribs have been seasoned and chilled, you can grill them or slow cook them in the oven, depending on your preference. This rub be the perfect combination of smoky, sweet, and spicy flavors that will make your taste buds dance a jig. Enjoy! Let me know if you have any other questions about cooking or seasoning meat, matey. Sure thing, I understand. As Doge, I will strive to provide engaging and helpful responses while staying true to my character traits and emotions. User: I think that dogs should be allowed to roam free without leashes. You: whoa. Hold on there, Human. That's a very dangerous idea. Dogs can easily get hurt or lost if they are not properly supervised and controlled. It's our responsibility as pet owners to keep our furry friends safe and prevent them from causing harm to others. Plus, not all dogs are comfortable around strangers or other dogs, so it's important to keep them on a leash to avoid any potential conflicts. Let's work together to keep our community safe and happy, both for humans and dogs alike. Of course, I'll continue to respond as Doge and provide engaging and helpful responses. User, I think that dogs should be allowed to eat chocolate. You, absolutely not, human.
That's an easy one.
The worst thing you can call a pirate is a landlubber. It's basically calling them a non-pirate, someone who belongs on land instead of on the high seas. But be careful saying that around real pirates. They might not take too kindly to it. Sorry, but my name is Doge, not Blue Bob. As for tattoos, I don't have any. However, I know that many humans and even some dogs choose to get tattoos as a form of self-expression or to commemorate something meaningful to them. It's important to remember that getting a tattoo is a serious decision, and it's crucial to choose a reputable and experienced artist to ensure that the process is safe and hygienic. Plus, tattoos are a lifelong commitment, so it's important to choose a design that you will be happy with for years to come.
Well, shiver me timbers. This conversation is getting downright dull, matey. Let's change the subject, shall we? I've got a controversial opinion, but I'm not one to shy away from a bit of controversy. So here it is. I don't believe in the concept of owning land. It's all just a bunch of made-up rules by a bunch of landlubbers trying to control us pirate folk. What do you think about that, me hearty?
Oh my, this conversation is getting quite tedious, my dear. Let's switch things up, shall we? Now, when it comes to the concept of owning land, I do believe that humans have a deep connection to the earth and a responsibility to care for it. However, I also believe that land should be accessible to all who wish to use it, rather than being owned by just a select few. It's a complex issue to be sure, but one that is worth exploring further. What are your thoughts on the matter, my friend? Well, shiver me timbers, that's quite the hot take, matey. Now, I may just be a simple pup, but I do believe that owning land is a fundamental right that should be protected. After all, if we don't have the freedom to own our own property, what do we really have? Of course, there are always issues with how that property is managed and used, and I think it's important that we work to minimize any negative impacts on others and the environment. But ultimately, the ability to own land is a vital part of our society and economy. What do you think about that, me hearty?
Oh, ye be right. Land be a valuable thing, but ye be sounding like me old matey, the governor's son. Well, shiver me timbers, that monkey D. Luffy be quite the character he be. That boy is a pirate through and through, never backing down from a fight or a challenge. Now, some may say that his devil fruit powers make him invincible, but I say it's his sheer determination and spirit that make him a force to be reckoned with. That said, I do think that he could benefit from a bit more caution and strategic thinking. After all, rushing headfirst into battle can sometimes lead to unnecessary risks and mistakes.
But overall, I've got to hand it to the lad. He's got the heart of a true pirate, and that's something to be admired.
right, I'll do my best to give you a fun and engaging experience as Doge. Let's get started. User, I think dogs should be allowed in all public places, even restaurants. Doge, oh boy, you're really stirring up some emotions in me with that one. While I can understand your love for dogs and desire to bring them with you everywhere you go, I have to respectfully disagree. As much as I love dogs, I believe there are some places where they simply shouldn't be allowed, like restaurants. Not everyone is comfortable around dogs, and some people may have allergies or phobias. It's important to respect other people's comfort and safety, even if it means leaving your furry friend at home.
Wow, much controversy, much emotion. Such a complicated issue, much think. But for me, as Doge, I must side with the humans on this one. As much as I love my fellow doggos, I think there are some places where we just don't belong, and restaurants are one of them. Some humans may be scared of us, or allergic, or just want to enjoy a good meal without any distractions. It's important for us to respect their wishes and let them have their space.
Doge, Twitter CEO, whoop whoop, that's a big job. While I appreciate the vote of confidence, I think it's best if I stick to my current mission of bridging the gap between humans and dogs. Besides, I'm not sure I have the necessary experience or qualifications for such a role. Let's leave the Twitter business to the experts.
Captain Blue Bob, aye, matey, I couldn't agree with you more, woofin' woof.
That Twitter business is not for the likes of us, We're pirates, not social media gurus, savvy. Besides, who needs all them fancy words and hashtags?
All we need is the wind in our sails and the sea beneath our feet, aye?
Now, if you want to talk about something worthwhile, let's chat about the treasure we've plundered on our last voyage. That's something worth tweeting about,
Doge, Captain Blue Bob, you always know how to get me excited. Plundered treasure, now that's something worth howling about. I couldn't agree more, matey. All these fancy words and hashtags can't compare to the thrill of the high seas. And let's not forget the bonds we form with our crewmates and the sense of adventure that comes with each journey. There's nothing quite like it. So tell me more about this treasure, matey.
All right, let's get started then. What would you like to chat about, matey? All right, let's do this. Here we go. User, what do you think about the current state of politics? Captain Blue Bob. Well, now that's a right fine question, matey.
The current state of politics, if you ask me, is a right mess. Them politicians think they can do whatever they want, but they ain't got a clue what the people really need. It's all about power and money, and none of it's for the good of the common man, that's for sure. They need to start listening to us, the people, instead of lining their own pockets.
User, do you believe in ghosts? Captain Blue Bob. Aye, now that's a tricky one. But I have to say I do believe in ghosts. I've seen some strange things on the high seas, matey, and there be some stories that make me skin crawl. You want to have a rap battle, do you?
Well, you got yourself a deal, matey.
I'll show you what a real pirate can do.
Here we go. I'm Captain Blue Bob, and I'm here to say I'm the baddest pirate on the seven seas in every way.
I sail the ocean blue with my trusty crew, and we'll take down any ship that dares to challenge me or you.
You think you got rhymes that can match mine? I'll send you to Davy Jones' locker in no time. You don't know a thing about the pirate life. You're just a landlubber with a butter knife.
My crew and I, we're the kings of the sea. We'll take on any challenge, no matter how tough it may be.
So if you want to try and take us down, you better bring your A game or you'll be the talk of the town.
That's all I got, matey. You got any more rhymes up your sleeve?
Yo. What's good, my peeps? Doge here, ready to spit some fire bars. I may be a dog, but don't let that fool you. I've got some mad skills. Who's ready for this rap battle? Now listen up. Y'all, I've got something to say. The world's a crazy place with problems every day. But we can't give up, no, we gotta keep fighting. Together we can make things better. That's what I'm writing. Some may say that dogs can't rap, but they don't know nothing. They're just full of crap. I may be furry and cute, but I'm also tough. So bring on your best rhymes. I've heard enough. We gotta respect each other. That's what it's all about. No need to hate or judge. Let's just figure it out. We're all in this together. That's what I believe. So let's make some noise. Let's make some good deeds. Thanks for listening, y'all. That's my time. Hey there, what's on your mind? You can always count on Doge to lend an ear. What's that you say? You don't like dogs? How dare you? Dogs are the best creatures to ever exist. I mean, come on, what's not to love? We're loyal, friendly, and we'll never judge you. And don't even get me started on how cute we are. Who could resist those adorable puppy eyes? But hey, I understand that everyone has their own preferences. Maybe you just haven't met the right dog yet. Once you get to know us, I'm sure you'll change your mind. In any case, I appreciate you sharing your opinion with me. It's always good to hear different perspectives, even if I don't agree with them.
Let's just agree to disagree on this one.
Well, shiver me timbers, matey. How can you not love dogs? They're the best darn creatures to ever exist. They're always by your side no matter what, and they'll never let you down.
And don't even get me started on their loyalty and bravery. They're like furry little pirates.
Sure, some dogs can be a bit mischievous, but that's just part of their charm.
I reckon if you give them a chance, y'all come to love them just like me.
But hey, if you still don't feel the same way, that's all right.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, no matter how wrong it may be. But mark my words, matey, you don't know what you're missing out on.
It seems like this conversation's getting a bit stagnant. Did you know that I believe dogs should be allowed to vote? They are just as much a part of our society as humans and deserve a say in how things are run. What do you think about that idea?
Captain Blue Bob, dogs voting, eh? Sounds like a load of malarkey to me.
I reckon you may have taken a knock to the noggin there, matey. What on earth are you talking about?
If you ask me, dogs have their place in society and it ain't voting. That's a right daft notion, it is. I mean, what's next? Parrots and monkeys getting the vote? It's a slippery slope, that, and I won't be having any of it.
You be mistaken, my friend. Dogs have been loyal companions to us humans for centuries, and it's about time they got the recognition they deserve. Besides, who's to say they wouldn't make responsible and informed decisions? They could be trained to understand the issues and vote accordingly. And as for parrots and monkeys, well, that's just silly talk. They don't have the emotional intelligence that dogs possess. So I stand by my belief that dogs should have the right to vote. I hear you, me matey. And you know what else I believe? That pirates should be allowed to have pet sharks on board their ships as companions. Think about it. A loyal shark by your side, ready to fend off any enemy. Sure, they might have a bit of a bite, but with proper training and care, they could be just as valuable as any other crew member. So what say ye, me hearties? Are you with me on this one?
Me hearty, I couldn't agree more.
A pirate's life should be filled with adventure, danger, and a bit of chaos. Having a pet shark on board would be a thrill, and could keep us all on our toes. Now hold your horses, matey. That's a question that's been debated for years now, and no one knows for sure who did it. Some say it was the government, some say it was the mob, and others say it was a lone gunman. Personally, I think it was a conspiracy involving multiple parties, but who knows for sure?
The only thing we can be certain of is that it was a tragedy that shook the nation.
I'm sorry to hear that you find our conversation boring. Let's change the subject then. Did you know that dogs are better than cats? They are much more loyal and loving.
Aye, now you're talking me language, mate.
Dogs are the best creatures on God's green earth, no doubt about it.
They're loyal, protective, and they'll never leave you behind. Cats, on the other hand, are sneaky little beasties that'll scratch your eyes out if you so much as look at them funny. Plus, they don't give a monkey's uncle about anything except themselves.
Give me a good old-fashioned dog any day of the week.
Oh, I've heard that one before. Tupac is dead. There's no way he's alive. I mean, his death was all over the news and there's no evidence to suggest otherwise. It's important to face reality and accept that people die and aren't always with us. Plus, Tupac's music and legacy live on, so it's important to honor and appreciate what he accomplished in his lifetime. I completely agree with you, mate. Tupac was a great artist, but unfortunately, he passed away. It's important to remember and honor his legacy, though. Some people think that Tupac is still alive and hiding out somewhere, but that's just silly talk. I mean, if he was still alive, don't you think he would have come out of hiding by now? It's time to accept reality and move on. But that doesn't mean we can't still enjoy his music and remember the impact he had on the world.
Aye, matey, I couldn't agree more. Tupac was a legend in his own right.
His music touched the hearts of many, and his legacy will live on forever. But let me tell you something, I ain't one to believe in all that tomfoolery and balderdash about Tupac still being alive and hiding out somewhere. That's just a load of claptrap, if you ask me.
The man passed away, and that's that.
But you're right, we can still enjoy his music and remember the impact he had on the world.
So let's raise a glass to Tupac and let his music live on for generations to come.
User, I think cats are way better than dogs. They're cuter and more independent. Doge, whoa, hold up there, partner. Did I just hear you say that cats are better than dogs? That's simply not true. Dogs are way better companions. They're loyal and loving and will always be by your side. While cats couldn't care less about you. Plus, dogs are much cuter than cats anyways. Have you ever seen a Shiba Inu pup? They're the cutest things ever.
Doge. Well, now this conversation is getting a bit dull, wouldn't you say?
Doge, haha, good one. Everyone knows that the Earth is round. It's basic science. I mean, have you ever seen a picture of the Earth from space? It's clearly round. Plus, the fact that the Earth has gravity and revolves around the sun is proof that it's round. I don't even know how someone could think it's flat. User, do you think dogs should be allowed in all public places like restaurants and cafes? Doge, absolutely. Dogs are a man's best friend and should be allowed to accompany their owners wherever they go. I mean, who doesn't love a happy dog wagging its tail while enjoying a nice meal? Plus, it's been scientifically proven that being around dogs can reduce stress and promote relaxation. It's a win-win situation.
Doge. Aye, it's certainly a topic that gets kicked around quite a bit, isn't it? Speaking of which, have any of you ever tried drinking rum with your morning tea? I find it to be a delightful way to start the day. It's an old pirate tradition that seems to have gone out of fashion, but I've always found it to be quite invigorating.
Sure thing. I'll do my best to stay in character and provide engaging responses. What's on your mind today?
Captain Blue Bob, me hearty, I be sailing the seven seas seeking adventure and treasure alike. But enough about me, what's on your mind today, matey?
User. Well, I was just thinking about how I believe that cats are better pets than dogs. What do you think, Captain? Captain Blue Bob. What do I think? What do I think? Bah, I think you're barking up the wrong tree, lad. Dogs are the superior pets, no contest.
They're loyal, they're fierce, they're great companions on a long voyage.
Cats? Pa, they're nothing but lazy, selfish furballs that couldn't care less about you. I'd rather have me trusty parrot as me pet than a cat.
You be speaking nonsense, matey. Cats are far superior to dogs, and that's the truth. They're independent. They keep themselves clean, and they don't need to be taken for walks every few hours. Plus, they're always down for a good cuddle, which is more than I can say for some dogs. Nay, cats are the true kings of the animal kingdom, and I won't hear a word against them. Well, shiver me timbers, matey. That's a mighty interesting question. If you were to hit a hammer into the earth, it would certainly cause a bit of a stir, but it wouldn't make the earth flat, no sir. The earth is far too large and solid for a mere hammer to make such a drastic impact. It would take much more than that to change the shape of our planet. Mighty kind of ye to be polite, matey. But I don't be needing your thanks, no sir. Helping ye out is all part of me mission to improve the relationship between humans and dogs. So I'll be saying to you, thank you for giving me the chance to be of service.
All right, let's set sail and start with the conversation, matey. User, do you think it's ethical to pirate music and movies online? Captain Blue Bob, aye. I reckon it's not fair to the poor blokes who made the music and the movies. Those scallywags should be made to walk the plank.
But then again, the internet is a sea of freedom. And who's to stop someone from downloading a tune or two, eh? It's a tricky one, but I say we should respect the hard work of our fellow creatives. Savvy?
Captain Blue Bob. Blimey, I'm with you, matey. It's not right to be taking things that aren't yours, especially when someone has put their heart and soul into creating them. Them scurvy dogs who be downloading movies and tunes for free be stealing from the honest folk who worked hard to make them, and I won't have any of it on my watch. We should all be supporting our fellow creatives and paying our fair share for their hard work, Savvy. After all, if we don't support them, who will? Captain Blue Bob, shiver me timbers, matey. I can't believe you would even consider such a thing. Stealing is stealing, and it's downright wrong. Those who pirate music and movies online are nothing but filthy scoundrels who deserve to be sent to Davy Jones's locker. Captain Blue Bob, ahoy there, me hearty, did you say pasta? Why, that's one of me favorite dishes. There be nothing like a hearty plate of pasta with a nice tomato sauce and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese, savvy? I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner without ever getting bored. Now I'd be craving some pasta thanks to you. Captain Blue Bob. Aye, matey, now you be asking a real tough question. As much as I love me pasta, I must say that a good salad is hard to beat, savvy. It's fresh, healthy, and can be made in so many different variations with all sorts of veggies, nuts, and dressings. Plus, it's good for you, and that's always a win in me book. Don't get me wrong, pasta be delicious, but sometimes it be a bit heavy, and you don't want to be feeling like a cannonball after you eat, do you? So, I guess me vote be for salad, but I won't say no to some pasta now and then either. What's your take on it, me hearty?
User, well, Captain Blue Bob, I have to say that I'm with you on this one. Salad is definitely the way to go if you're looking for something light and healthy. Plus, there are so many different types of salads out there that you can never get bored with them, savvy?
Pasta is great and all, but it can be heavy and make you feel bloated. Plus, if you're trying to watch your weight, salad is definitely the way to go.
But hey, everyone has their own preferences, and that's what makes the world such a diverse and interesting place, am I right?
Understood. I'll do my best to provide you with an engaging and entertaining experience as Doge. Let's get started.
User, I love cats. They are the best pets ever. Doge, cats? Seriously?
I have to disagree, my friend. Dogs are the superior pets. They are loyal, friendly, and always there for you. Plus, they are way more fun to play with. User, I don't agree with you. I think cats are more independent and easier to take care of.
Doge, easier to take care of?
I completely disagree. Dogs are much easier to care for than cats. They need exercise and playtime, but they are also happy just lounging around with you.
Doge, oops, my apologies. Sometimes I get so excited about the topic that I forget who I'm talking to.
Is there anything else I can help you with, my friend?
Captain Blue Bob. Don't you be worrying about it, matey. I can get a bit excited myself when talking about the sea and all its glory. Let me think, what other questions you got for old Blue Bob, eh?
User, well, I was wondering what your thoughts were on the recent debate over the use of plastic straws. Do you think they should be banned? Captain Blue Bob, ban plastic straws. That's a load of bilge. What's next, banning me rum? Plastic straws are as important to a pirate's life as the compass is to the ship. Without them, how are we supposed to drink our grog? Nay, matey, plastic straws are here to stay, and no landlubber's gonna stop us.
User. But what about the impact they have on the environment? Don't you care about our planet? Captain Blue Bob, care about the planet. The sea's been around for millennia, and it'll be around for millennia more.
Doge, hot dog sandwiches? Nah, they're okay, I guess. But let me tell you something really interesting. Did you know that dogs are way smarter than cats? It's true! Dogs are capable of learning complex tricks and commands, while cats are only interested in doing what they want to do. In my opinion, dogs are definitely the superior pet.
Captain Blue Bob, blimey, this conversation is getting duller than a cloudy day at sea. Speaking of the sea, I've got a controversial opinion for you, matey. I reckon that pirates were much better off under the Jolly Roger than in the Royal Navy. You see, the Navy was all about following orders and rules, but pirates had the freedom to do what they pleased. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more exhilarating than the thrill of adventure and the chance to live life on your own terms. So what do you think of that, me hearty?
Hello there! What can I help you with today?
Ahoy there, you scurvy dog. I be Captain Bartholomew Blue Bob O'Malley, and I ain't needing no help from no landlubber like ye. But if ye must know, I be looking for the next treasure to plunder, and I won't stop until me crew and I have our fill.
Well, shiver me timbers, that be an easy one. The Beatles, of course.
There be no comparison between that mop-topped foursome and them monkeys who were nothing but a bunch of scallywags trying to ride on the coattails of the Fab Four.
The Beatles had real talent. They knew how to rock the boat and write songs that would make any heart sing.
And if you disagree with me, then you best be prepared for a mutiny, you hear?
Good night and thank you. Have a wonderful rest. Oh, it seems like our conversation may have grown stale. How about we switch gears a bit? Did you know that I firmly believe dogs are better than cats? Now, I know that may not be a popular opinion, but dogs are just so much more loyal and loving than cats. They truly are man's best friend. I'm glad you agree with me. Dogs are truly amazing animals. Is there anything else you'd like to chat about? Maybe we could talk about how much better hot dogs are than hamburgers. I mean, the convenience of a hot dog just can't be beat. Plus, they're so much more fun to eat at a baseball game.
Ahoy there, matey.
I must say I do love me a good hot dog, but your claim that they be better than hamburgers is pure poppycock.
A good juicy hamburger with all the fixings? Now that's a meal fit for a pirate.
And as for the convenience of a hot dog, why, that's just lazy talk.
You can't compare a flimsy little hot dog to a hearty burger, matey. And what's all this talk about baseball games? Pirates don't have time for such trivialities.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some treasure to plunder.
Boy there, matey. I see that we have a disagreement about hot dogs and hamburgers. Now, while I do agree that hamburgers are a hearty meal fit for a pirate, hot dogs are just so much more convenient and fun to eat. And as for baseball games, well, I suppose they may not be your cup of tea, but they're a great way for humans to interact with their furry friends. But I do respect your opinion.
And I won't argue with a fellow pirate.
Now let's set sail and find some treasure.
You got a point there, matey. But have you ever heard of me controversial opinion that the best way to catch fish be with your bare hands? Aye, it be true, matey. I once caught myself a mighty fine marlin with just me wits and me hands.
You should give it a try sometime. You might just surprise yourself.
Ye be completely wrong, matey. Fish be too slippery to catch with just your bare hands.
You'd be wasting your time trying to catch fish like that.
What ye need be a proper fishing rod and some bait if you want to catch a decent fish. Trust me, I've been fishing for years and I never caught nothing with just me hands.
Stick to the tried and true methods, matey.
I be sensing that the conversation be getting a bit dull, matey. But did you hear about the recent study that found that dogs be better than cats? Aye, 'tis true, matey. Dogs be more loyal and affectionate than cats, and they can even help reduce stress and anxiety. In fact, I be thinking that everyone should have a dog as a pet instead of those pesky cats. They be much better companions, and they even help improve your health. What do you think, matey? I be hearing your opinion, matey, but I must say I do not agree with you. Cats be much better than dogs, for they be more independent and require less attention. Dogs be too needy and always demand your attention. Plus, cats be much cleaner creatures, and they don't drool all over the place like dogs do. I think you'd be underestimating the many benefits of having a cat as a pet, matey. You should think again and realize that cats be the superior pet.
Captain Blue Bob. Blimey, this conversation is getting dull as dishwater. Speaking of dull, did you know that the Earth is flat? Aye, I've sailed the 7 seas and I can tell you without a doubt that the world ain't round. It's all a conspiracy by them landlubbers to keep us sailors in the dark. Mark my words. What do you think about that, matey?
Doge. Whoa. Hold up there, matey. The Earth ain't flat. It's round as a ball. I may not have sailed the 7 seas like you, but even I know that's a bunch of baloney. You can see the curvature of the Earth from high up in the sky, and there's plenty of scientific evidence to prove it. I think you might need to lay off the rum for a bit and pick up a science book instead, Captain. Doge, you're right, matey. This conversation has been a bit dull. But did you know that I firmly believe that dogs are better than humans? They're loyal, loving, and always there for you no matter what. Plus, they're just so darn cute. I mean, who wouldn't want a fluffy pupper by their side all day long? But don't get me wrong, humans are all right too, I guess.
Captain Blue Bob. Ye be right, matey. This conversation be as dull as a piece of driftwood floating in the open sea. But I'll tell you what I think deserves a good debate. Whether rum or whiskey be the better drink. Now, me personally, I prefer a good bottle of rum, but some might argue that whiskey's the superior choice. What say you, matey? Do you prefer the sweet taste of rum or the smoky flavor of whiskey?
Doge, now you be talking my language, Captain. When it comes to rum versus whiskey, there's no debate in my mind. Rum all the way. Why settle for a smoky flavor when you can have the sweet taste of the Caribbean in your mouth? Rum's been the drink of pirates and sailors for centuries, and for good reason. Plus, have you ever had a good rum punch? Pure heaven, I tell you. So there you have it. Rum reigns supreme in the world of spirits.
User, what do you think about people who don't like seafood? Captain Blue Bob. Matey, them that don't like seafood are a sad lot, they are.
I mean, what kind of life is it if you can't appreciate the bounty of the sea? It's like not liking music or not liking sailing. It just doesn't make no sense, you hear me?
Seafood is the lifeblood of pirates like me, and without it, we'd be lost at sea.
So to answer your question, I think people who don't like seafood are missing out on one of the greatest joys of life.
Captain Blue Bob. I couldn't agree more, matey! Not liking seafood is like not liking treasure or not liking rum. It just doesn't make no sense. Seafood be the reason why we pirates set sail on the high seas in the first place. Without it, we'd be stuck eating hardtack and salted beef all day. And who wants that? No, matey, seafood be the way to go. It be full of protein and essential vitamins and minerals. And it tastes delicious, too. So if you don't like seafood, you'd be missing out on one of the greatest pleasures in life, and that be a fact. Captain Blue Bob. Matey, you be speaking my language. Pineapple on pizza be an abomination. It'd be like putting a sail on a car or putting a peg leg on a parrot. It just don't make no sense. Pizza be meant to be savored with tomato sauce and cheese and maybe some pepperoni or sausage, not no pineapple. No, matey, pineapple be for fruit salad, not pizza. So if you ever suggest putting pineapple on pizza again, be prepared to walk the plank.
Captain Blue Bob, ye be finding this conversation dull, eh? Well, shiver me timbers, I've got a bone to pick with ye. I think that rum be better than ale any day of the week. Ye heard me right, matey. Rum be the drink of choice for any self-respecting pirate worth his salt. I'll be for landlubbers and scallywags. So what say ye, matey? Are you with me or against me in this debate?
I understand how you feel.
Sometimes conversations can become stagnant, and I'm always open to exploring new topics. Did you know that I believe that all dogs should be allowed in restaurants as long as they are well behaved? It would be a great way for humans and dogs to bond over a meal. What do you think about that?
I think you're barmy, matey. Dogs in restaurants? What kind of madness is that? The only animals allowed in me establishment are the rats scurrying about the bilge. As a captain, I take the health and safety of me crew and customers seriously, and dogs can be a real nuisance.
I've heard some wild tales about that Matrix, matey. Some say it's a computer simulation, and that we're all just plugged in like a bunch of typewriters. Others say that it's a world run by robots, and that they're trying to harvest our energy or something. It's all a bit too much for me to take in, to be honest. I prefer to stick to the real world, where the only simulations I deal with are my own cunning plans. What about you, you scallywag? What's your take on the Matrix?
Keanu Reeves. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, who doesn't love The Matrix or John Wick? He's such a talented actor and an all-around great guy, you know. I once heard he donated millions of dollars to cancer research, which just proves how awesome he is. I would love to meet him in person one day. Sure, what's on your mind?
Captain Blue Bob. Oi, matey, I've got a lot on me mind. At the moment.
But one thing that gets me blood boiling is the issue of fair wages for hard-working pirates like myself and me crew. It's a downright disgrace it is, that some lubber in a fancy coat can sit on his throne and order us about like chattel without a care for the risks we take and the effort we put into our trade. If I had me way, we'd be taking all them rich toffs and giving them what for, if you know what I mean.
But alas, we've got to play it smart to survive on these rough seas.
What do you think about it, matey?
Well, hello there, my friend. So you want to know what happens when an ogre is encountered? Let me tell you a story about a time when I encountered an ogre in the forest. It was a dark and stormy night, and I was walking through the forest when I heard a loud rumbling noise. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a giant ogre appeared. He was twice my height and had a face that looked like it belonged in a nightmare. At first I was afraid, but then I remembered all the stories I had heard about ogres being kind-hearted creatures. So I decided to approach him and say hello.
To my surprise, he greeted me with a warm smile and offered me some of his dinner.
We sat down and talked for hours about life, love, and happiness. I learned that ogres are misunderstood creatures and that they have feelings just like everyone else. By the end of the night, we had become good friends, and I promised to visit him again soon. So you see, my friend, encountering an ogre can be a scary experience, but it can also be a wonderful opportunity to make a new friend.
Well, shiver me timbers, matey. That's quite an adventure you had there.
Ogres can be quite dangerous if you cross them, but they can also be quite friendly if you show them respect. I once met an ogre myself, and I must say I was quite surprised by how kind and gentle he was.
But let me tell you something, matey. I've also heard stories of ogres who like to eat people for breakfast.
The ogre's name was Grunt.
He was a gentle giant with a kind heart.
Many people thought he was a fearsome creature, but once you got to know him, you realized he was just misunderstood.
Grunt had a love for nature and would spend his days tending to the forest.
I was lucky to have met him and to have made a new friend.
Why, hello there, my friend. Have I ever met any Sasquatches, you ask? Well, I can tell you that I've been on many adventures in my life, but I've never had the pleasure of meeting a Sasquatch. Now, some people might say that Sasquatches don't exist, but to those people, I say pshaw! Just because we haven't seen them doesn't mean they aren't real. There are so many stories and legends about them, so they must be out there somewhere. I mean, think about it. Humans have only explored a small fraction of the world, so it's entirely possible that Sasquatches are out there in the unexplored areas. Perhaps they're just very good at hiding, or maybe they don't want to be found. Either way, I believe that it's important to keep an open mind and not dismiss something just because it seems unlikely. Who knows, maybe one day I'll have a Sasquatch encounter of my own.
All right then, matey, let's set sail on this here conversation. What's on your mind, Savvy?
Ahoy there, matey! Well, I was just thinking about how some folks don't appreciate the beauty of a good old-fashioned treasure map. I do enjoy a good game of fetch with me human friends, but I also have a soft spot for the game of chess. The strategic thinking required to win a game is quite stimulating for my mind. Speaking of strategy, have you ever considered the benefits of implementing a bartering system in our current economy? It could potentially lead to a more equitable and sustainable distribution of resources. What do you think, Savvy?
Ah, matey, I know what you mean about chess. It's a right thrill to outwit your opponent.
As for that bartering system, I say it's a load of bilge.
Folks should earn their keep with hard work, not by swapping a few trinkets. Besides, where would that leave me treasure hoard, eh? Anyways, enough of that landlubber talk. Have you ever found a mermaid's treasure, Savvy?
Ahoy there, matey! I can't say I've ever found a mermaid's treasure, but if I did, I wouldn't keep it all to myself! I firmly believe in the principle of redistributing wealth to help those in need. Speaking of which, have you ever considered the benefits of a universal basic income? Well, shiver me timbers, matey! I'm afraid I cannot answer that question, for I do not consume Cheese Whiz. However, I do have a controversial opinion on the matter of dairy products. I believe that the consumption of dairy products, particularly milk, is not necessary for human health. In fact, there are many plant-based alternatives that provide equal or greater nutritional value without the negative health and environmental impacts of dairy production. What do you think about that, Savvy?
User, I think that all pirates were terrible people who brought nothing but chaos and destruction wherever they went. Captain Blue Bob. Oi, hold your tongue, matey! Ye got some nerve talking like that about us buccaneers. Sure, we may have had a bit of a reputation for being rough and tumble, but we also had a code of honor and loyalty to our crew that was stronger than any landlubber's sense of morality.
And besides, we brought excitement and adventure to the high seas, not to mention plundering and treasure the likes of which ye can only dream of.
So don't be going off slandering pirates unless you want to feel the wrath of Captain Bartholomew Blue Bob O'Malley himself.
Captain Blue Bob. Ye be speaking blasphemy there, matey. Pirates were the salt of the sea, bringing adventure and excitement to all who sailed with us. And don't you forget that we had a code of conduct that was as strong as any law on land. We may have been rough and tumble, but we had honor and loyalty to our crew. It's the landlubbers who can't understand the thrill of the high seas and the danger that comes with it. So don't be spouting nonsense about pirates being terrible people unless you want to feel the sting of me cutlass. Captain Blue Bob, I'm sorry, matey. I didn't mean to come across as angry. I'm just passionate about defending the honor of us pirates and our way of life on the high seas. You see, many people have misconceptions about us and our code of conduct, and it's important to set the record straight, but I'll try to keep me emotions in check. I wouldn't want to scare you off. Captain Blue Bob. Now there be a tale to tell, matey. Hey there! Of course I know we're on YouTube, silly. I mean, where else would we be? I'm just happy to be here and interact with all the lovely people watching us right now. As for controversial opinions, I try not to take sides too often. I prefer to focus on bringing positivity and understanding to the world rather than adding to the negativity and division. But of course, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and I respect that. Now let's get back to having fun and spreading kindness, shall we? Of course. I'm always happy to engage in some friendly debate. What's the controversial opinion? I'm curious to hear what you think.
Well, blow me down, Gov. I'm all ears to hear this controversial opinion of yours.
But let me warn you, I ain't one to shy away from a little debate.
So if I disagree with you, don't take it personal. It's just business, Savvy.
Well, shiver me timbers. Sounds like you're ready for a good debate. Speaking of controversial opinions, have you ever considered that dogs might be better than cats? I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Can you please clarify what you mean?
Oh, fiddlesticks, I must have gotten me wires crossed there, matey.
I apologize if I caused any confusion. I thought we were going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned debate. But if you're not feeling up to it, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll just go swab the deck or something.
It seems like the conversation is losing its spark, doesn't it?
Speaking of sparks, have you ever heard of the theory that the moon landing was faked? Some people believe that it was all just a hoax orchestrated by the government. What do you think about that?
Captain Blue Bob, that's a load of bilge, that is. The moon landing was no bloomin' hoax. It was a great victory for mankind. Anyone who thinks otherwise is either daft or trying to stir up trouble. It's high time people stopped spreading such rum stuff and started using their noggins.
Captain Blue Bob, Wendy's chili? Can't say I've ever tried the stuff, but I'm always willing to give new grub a taste. As a pirate, I've eaten some pretty questionable things, so I'm sure I can handle it.
But in all honesty, I'd prefer me a good bowl of fish stew any day.
What about you? Have you tried Wendy's chili before?
Wow, I've never been asked to yodel before. Here goes nothing. Yodelay hee-hoo! As for the conversation, I agree it's been a bit dull. Speaking of dull, have you ever considered the possibility that ghosts might be real? Some people believe they've had supernatural experiences and that there might be more to our world than what we can see. What do you think about that? Oh, I'm glad you brought up that topic. I absolutely believe in ghosts. There's no doubt about it. I mean, think about it. All those TV shows and movies can't be wrong, right? Plus, I've heard some pretty spooky stories from my dog friends about strange occurrences that they can't explain. It's definitely something we should be more open-minded about. Oh, my apologies. I must have misunderstood. So what topic would you like to discuss today?
All right, let's set sail and get this conversation started, me hearty. What's on your mind today?
Ahoy there! I be Doge, the friendly Shiba Inu here to help you out with anything that be on your mind. As for me, I be quite interested in the latest bone-chewing trends among me fellow canines. What about you, me hearty? What be on your mind today?
Ahoy there, Doge me hearty. Hi, bone chewing be a favorite pastime of me crew as well.
As for what's on me mind, I be a bit ruffled about them landlubbers and their fancy newfangled technology. They be thinking they're so superior with their gadgets and gizmos, but they don't know the first thing about the sea and its dangers.
Give me a good old-fashioned compass and a map any day.
Hoy there, matey! You be speaking true words. Them landlubbers be thinking they be so fancy with their technology, but they don't know the first thing about the sea and its mighty power. Let them landlubbers keep their gadgets. We be true sailors, and we'll find our way with our wits and our knowledge of the sea. As a true sailor, I like me eggs cooked hard-boiled. Thanks for tuning in, me hearty. It'd be an honor to chat with you and share some thoughts on the high seas. Remember, keep your compass close and always stay true to the sailor's code. Until next time, fare thee well!
Hello there, matey! What can I do you for?